Iraq militants control second city of Mosul. Iraq's prime minister has asked parliament to declare a state of emergency after Islamist militants effectively took control of Mosul. Nouri Maliki acknowledged vital areas of the northern city had been seized. Overnight, hundreds of men armed with rocket-propelled grenades and machine guns seized the Nineveh provincial government's offices in Mosul. They also destroyed several police stations, before overrunning the airport and Army's operations headquarters. Elsewhere, a double bomb attack in the central town of Baqaba killed at least 20 people, police and medics said. The blasts, targeting a funeral procession in the capital of Diyala province, also wounded 28 people. In the past week, the jihadist Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant ISIS and its allies have carried out major attacks on cities and towns in western and northern Iraq, killing scores of people. After 5 days of fighting, they took control of key installations in Mosul, Iraq's second-largest city with an estimated population of 1.8 million. On Monday, Nineveh Governor Athil al-Nuyafi made a televised plea to the city's residents, calling on them to stand firm in their areas, and to defend them against the strangers. But Mr. Nuyafi fled shortly, before the provincial government's headquarters fell to the onslaught late on Monday night. On Tuesday, several residents told the Associated Press that black flags associated with jihadist groups were flying from buildings, and that the militants had announced over loudspeaker that they had come to liberate Mosul, and would fight only those who attack them. The situation is chaotic inside the city and there is nobody to help us, said Karam, a government employee. We are afraid. Many police stations were reported to have been set on fire. Local TV stations showed pictures of plumes of smoke rising over the city and hundreds of detainees set free. An Interior Ministry official had admitted that police and soldiers had fled after removing their uniforms. The city of Mosul is outside the control of the state and at the mercy of the militants. Osama al-Nuyafi, the Speaker of Parliament and brother of Nineveh's governor, called on the Iraqi government and Kurdistan regional government to send reinforcements to Mosul to fight the terrorists, whom he said had seized military hardware, including helicopters. What happened is a disaster by any standard, he said. The presence of these terrorist groups in this vast province threatens not just the security and the unity of Iraq, but the whole Middle East. Later, Mr. Maliki told a televised news conference in Baghdad that the security forces had been placed on a state of maximum alert. He also said he had asked Parliament to declare a state of emergency, which would broaden arrest powers and allow curfews to be imposed. Meanwhile, the Turkish consulate in Mosul confirmed reports that 28 Turkish lorry drivers had been abducted by militants in Nineveh. Our correspondent says the loss of Mosul is a massive challenge to Mr. Maliki. The mainly Sunni city has long chafed under his rule, he adds. It comes as the Iraqi government struggles with the surge in sectarian violence that killed almost 800 people, including 603 civilians, in May alone, according to the UN. Last year, more than 8,860 people died. Parts of Ramadi, the capital of Anbar province, and much of the nearby city of Fallujah have been under the control of ISIS and its allies since late December, something that Mr. Maliki has been unable to reverse.